What's up, y'all? It's Bones, and today we're talking brisket, the most controversial meat ever to be put on this planet. And everybody has their own way of doing it. And most experienced barbecuers have messed up 1, 2, 3, 4 briskets, including myself, and it's not a cheap piece of meat to mess up. So the purpose of this video is to give you a foolproof way to cook a good brisket every single time. Now in this video, you're gonna have a choice to go left or go right, and I'll explain that later on in the video. But go ahead and get that brisket out the fridge and let's get started. I was able to get my hands on this 11-pound packer, and the first thing I do with any brisket when I get it out the plastic is I pat it dry. That's pretty much the first step to establishing a nice bark. Now it goes on to trimming. This one was actually trimmed pretty good out of the plastic, but I don't mind the ones with a lot of fat because I use it. I'll probably make a video on how to trim sometime in the future. But what you want to do is just look for any hard fat and cut it off, and try to get your brisket uniform all the way around, because that's how you get a nice even cook, so your meat is juicy everywhere and not overcooked in certain places. Now it's time to season. There's a lot of pretentiousness around how to season a brisket. You hear guys say all you need is salt and pepper, and some people will throw garlic in there. Use what you like on your beef. You know how you like your steaks, you know how you like your pot roast, and whatever else kind of red meat that you cook, use that. They're not eating your brisket. Now this might be the most important part to establishing that really beautiful bark. What you want to do after you season your meat, throw that thing in a pan in the refrigerator, uncover overnight. What that's going to do is give you a nice dry exterior on the brisket, and that's the key to a really solid bark. So now go ahead and start lighting your grill up. I like using apple wood. As you can see, I use the snake method. I'll probably make a video on that in the future as well. Now what you want to do is put your drip pan down and add some beef broth to it, and try to keep the beef broth as clean as possible. You'll see why at the end of the video. Now it's time to put your meat down on the smoker. A lot of people go to a certain temperature until they decide to wrap it. I don't do that. I make sure I get the bark that I want before I wrap it. It took me about 4 hours to get the bark that you see right now. So now what you want to do is roll out your butcher paper and find like a moisture conduit to be in there with your brisket for the rest of the cook. So I like using Irish butter because it's in a solid form, so it's really easy to work with, and not to mention it's really rich and delicious. And as you can see, I mean that bark is like unmatched for this stage of the cook. Then I just add some of the Irish butter on top and wrap it up. You can see I'm no wrapping expert, but as long as you get it completely covered, you'll be fine. So after you get that beautiful bark on your brisket and you get it wrapped, you have a choice to make. Choice number one is you could put it back on the grill and keep that 225 setting by managing your charcoals and managing your wood, or you could put it in the oven. Let's see what I did and let's see what the results are. And this is my results in the oven on 250 degrees for about 12 hours and an hour of rest. As you can see, that bark really darkened up and was not compromised at all. It stayed extremely juicy, and you have that pronounced smoke ring as well. So now let's just sit back and admire how beautiful this brisket came out. So if you remember earlier in the video, I said it's important to save that beef broth and those drippings. This is why. You want to cook a brisket well in advance. So what you do is you want to store it in some sort of liquid, so when you heat it up, it's in a nice moist environment. So I hope these tips were helpful, and I'm curious to see, if you guys decided to go with the whole smoke on the grill method, or if you decide to go throw it in the oven. And if you have any prior experiences with brisket, it'd be cool to read that stuff in the comments. One thing I forgot to mention, get yourself a reliable thermometer. A reliable Bluetooth thermometer with an alarm, because nothing kills brisket faster than falling asleep. I bought this little Weber unit the day of the smoke because I couldn't find my regular thermometer. It's an interesting little piece. So if you want me to do a review on it, drop a comment, and I may go ahead and do that. But yeah, thanks for watching my video. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how those briskets turn out. Peace.